There are many paths to spiritual awakening. For some select few people, very few, there can be an instantaneous awakening and then a sense of forever being enlightened. For most of us, that's not how it works. For most of us, there's a process. There's a development within ourselves that brings us to a place of awakening. And by awakening, when I say that, I mean an awakening to your deeper self, an awakening to who you truly are. The path that I have here for you is one that's been assimilated over decades now of experiences, of trying different things, of exploring all kinds of thinking and philosophy, ways of doing things. All of that lives within me. And I've seen what works and what doesn't work for me. Everything works in some way for somebody. What I have here is what works for me. And what I've seen through working with others works for other people too. And if you have been drawn here, it's quite likely that this may work for you too. But let me show you or tell you what I'm bringing. I will be telling you of 4 phases that I take people through. Rather, guide people through. I can't take you through anything. The work that you do will all be yours. I can only point to certain spaces within yourself, really, and things that hide that away from you. So although the 4 phases I will be explaining in a linear way, and there is a linear sense in some way to the process and the progress that you'll make, the path in its entirety and your whole experience of it will be anything but linear. The phases take turns and you'll move through them, sometimes all of them in one time. In fact, as you move more and more deeply, all of them will be at play in yourself. So, what you would start with, what you will start with, what anyone needs to start with really, is learning to be really present. We are so busy in our world with the demands that we face, real demands, things that we need to deal with, that we actually need to deal with, that we get pulled out of being present. And I mean being present in yourself, present in your own being, before even you are present with anyone else. And I'm also not meaning present in a moment. I mean present here, now, in your own being. Because after all, how can you get to know your own being if you're not present in that? So the first phase is learning to be present, a deep sense of presence in your being, not present in a moment of time, present in your being here, now. And once you are present in yourself, you can begin to see more clearly, because likely you've seen this at play already, you can begin to see the, what I call shadows, the patterns of thinking, of belief, of feelings, of ways of behaving in the world, of attitudes to the world and in the world. All of those things that hide, in a sense, who we truly are. The patterns of thinking that carry you off into reactions to things that come to you, sometimes in ways that aren't so helpful, and other times in ways that are helpful, but that may be a little limited. They wouldn't feel limited, maybe they would. But because your whole being isn't in the flow of an experience, your experience and response to a moment can only occur from within that limited frame of mind, let's say. And this is not about changing your mindset. There's value in learning about that and learning to do that, but this is deeper work. This is, as you are more and more present in your being, this is then lifting above and beyond those shadows, because those shadows will always be at play. And actually, when you want to become disciplined and mindful and change your mindset, maybe, resistance comes into play, making it all the more difficult. So here you would learn to lift above and beyond those things that will always continue. But because you will learn to, first of all, recognize them and then do the lifting, you won't be caught in the cycles of those patterns anymore. So, phase 1, be present. Phase 2, watch out for those shadows and learn to not live through those, so that you can then, for the next phase, lean into, delight in, rest into, sit within the naturalness of who you are, the natural qualities, the natural shine that you have, the natural skills and talents you have. That doesn't mean you no longer use your mind. Your mind is developed in a certain way and has definite skills. But as you start operating and functioning in your world from your natural self, you are no longer mastered by your mind, driven by your mind, but can use your mind as an exceptional tool, along with other skills and things you've learned. So the third phase is becoming so present in this being, so lifted above and beyond those repeating cycles of patterns we all know so well, so that your natural skills and abilities and wonderful ways of being that are only yours can flow through the humanness of your form, the humanness of your mind in a skilled way. The humanness of any ability that you have, that you've learned and developed, is so useful to your being. And when you are here, present, not operating through the old patterns, your being can come alive through those learned skills and any kinds of things you've learned. They are used well in the fourth phase, which is being in the flow of life. And by this, I do not mean just going with the flow. Life doesn't quite work that way. Life does take care of itself when we aren't interfering and trying to make it fit to what we think it should be doing for us. Life does take care of itself when you are absolutely in the flow of it, in this focused and present way. It's like you have the skill then to ride the wave, to surf the wave even of life. So that as life comes through, you can meet it fully, be fully engaged in the dance of life, expressing your being through your humanness, in a full and rich and incredible way. And by this, I don't mean that you reach for the stars and success rains upon you and we should all sing your praises. Not that at all. That can happen. As an aside, if that's what is in this life stream for you. But whatever this is, this flow of life through you, it is utterly yours to live and enjoy, to relish in, to luxuriate in, to be blessed in, to bless in. A dance in which your natural being can sing as it's truly meant to, so that you can live the life that is truly yours as yourself, your full, rich, glorious self, natural, authentic, not needing to be anything other than you. Those are the 4 phases. And you'll see, and maybe you can't see my hand, it's not a linear thing, it's a cycling thing, but a beautiful cycle, beautiful spiral of life. Now, I call this a gentle path to sustainable spiritual awakening. We've all been on those retreats or workshops, had those breakthroughs, those aha moments that light up in us and from us, and everything looks a little brighter, looks different and new and possible. Only after some time to have that close in again. Now, in reality, nothing closes in. It's all still there because we already are the fullness of who we are. But our humanness, while not awakened, our humanness comes in and just covers that up a little bit. Those old patterns, the old shadows, mask who you really are. And the reason for that is, the reason why you have a breakthrough and then it seems to close in again, is because you haven't developed yet the capacity in your sense of your own being to hold that breakthrough for very long, to hold that new sense of seeing things, those new abilities that suddenly feel like they are yours and then they disappear. That confidence that's all there and then it's just gone. That's how breakthroughs occur. On this path, because we're learning things and developing abilities and capacity all the way through this path, the breakthroughs become sustainable. Yes, there will still be times that shadows come in, that you forget again a little bit. But more and more, as you develop this spiritual muscle of remaining seated, present here in the fullness of your being, the more you develop that muscle, it's not about this being sustainable, because actually this deeper sense of yourself is always here and present. There's nothing that needs to be sustainable about it. What needs to be sustainable is your capacity to remain in this. And this path teaches you that. It doesn't, and it's not a path that I teach you something and you learn and you go and do. There is some of that, of course, but this is an experience for you. And as you experience certain things in your own being, know how there are some things that once seen, they just cannot be unseen. Once you know something, you know it. Once you experience yourself in this way, you know yourself in this way. And yes, you'll doze off now and then. And because this is developing with the spiritual muscle, you recognize that and you are alert to that, and you know how to bring yourself to be seated back fully as yourself. So, this is a gentle path. You will need persistence. There's a muscle that needs to be built and developed, definitely. You will need to be persistent with that. But it's not a strong discipline that you have to get up at a certain time every morning and do so many minutes of something every day. Your path may include that, definitely. But you can also be a little bit light about that, so long as you have the intention and persistence and patience and compassion with yourself to be gently in this awakening. And then it is something sustainable. So this is a gentle path to sustainable spiritual awakening. And if you feel drawn to anything that I've said, or if this resonates in some way with you and you'd like to explore that with me, book a call. Let's talk. Let's have a look at what this path could look like for you, what it might mean for you, and how you might engage with it. So, thank you for listening. I am Sandra Lyne, and I look forward to connecting with you in any way that occurs. Thank you.